Welcome back, Brian Thomas Jr. Glad to see you. Now, let's get on with this game against the Colts. We'll talk about it here today.
You are Locked On Jaguars, your daily Jacksonville Jaguars podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Facts on facts. It is your team every day here on Locked On Jaguars. We thank you for making us your first listen. Locked On Jaguars is a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, which is the #1 sports podcast network. And we thank you for joining us. Shout out to the everydayers that tune in each and every day to read this book that we have created chapter by chapter here on Locked On Jaguars. Glad you joined us, and you can join us too, even if you're not an everydayer. You can become one. All you got to do is just tap in wherever you watch or listen to your podcast, and we will be here just like you are watching or listening right now. And this show is sponsored and brought to you by FanDuel. If you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. Let me give you a little bit of a roadmap to where we're going. We need to turn the bank up. The bank come this weekend because there's so much at stake. We'll close the show with that. But right in the middle, we're going to answer some questions. And these are big questions. Mainly, I'm going to attach this to Travis Hunter. And it'll kind of go back and take you back a little bit to training camp, beginning of the season, and answer a what will it look like question, right? And we still don't know the answer, but we do have some answers. All right, welcome back, BT. That's where we're going to start. Brian Thomas Jr. made his return to the Jaguars lineup and immediately paid dividends. He had 2 catches for 28 yards, but the operative word being catches. Brian Thomas Jr. caught the football. But that wasn't the most impressive thing about Brian Thomas Jr. to me. The most impressive thing about Brian Thomas Jr. to me was on a Jacoby Myers dig and dagger, I guess they call it, where he caught the ball and he turned upfield, and you could see him look towards Brian Thomas Jr., who was running full speed down the field to block for him. I've seen this a couple of other times. One other time earlier this year, I believe BT was running and he actually passed Travis Etienne to block for him. But I saw Jimmy Smith on Fred Taylor's long 90-some-odd yard run in the playoffs years ago. Catch Fred Taylor in the open field running, and Fred is fast. Now let me know how fast Jimmy Smith was. But one thing plays like that tell you is that the kid, whoever it is, he reads the room. He's into it. He's all in. He's invested. When the play doesn't come his way, he was running full speed and he was engaged to be a football player. And that's one of the things that we have asked about BT, like, what's wrong? What's wrong? Is he afraid of contact? Is it this? Is it that? When you see a dude running that way on a day where he actually caught the ball and he's still playing football, because as much as we talk about all of these other things, any football coach worth his medal will tell you that the game of football always comes down to blocking and tackling. Blocking and tackling. That's it. And blocking is what Brian Thomas Jr. was doing the other day. That just tells me that he's thinking about football, that he's reacting. He's on the field. He's in the middle of the action. It doesn't tell me that he ain't going to drop a pass here and there. I just think he was trying too hard. I don't think he was afraid. I really don't. And I do believe that sitting on the sideline and watching somebody have success like Parker Washington or Jacoby Myers, one of two things can happen. You can either sulk and have a pity party, or you can go be the dude that you've been your whole life. It's not the absence of adversity or fear, for that matter. It's what you do when it happens. Now, you hear coaches always talk about respond. You hear a coach in Tallahassee say that word a whole bunch, but that's a whole nother show, okay? But for a whole nother entity, that's college football. But you get my point. What do? We're not gonna look, man, you got to catch the ball, dog. We ain't going to sit here and go down the drain with you because you're going through a slump. Hey, we're going to help you out of it as much as we can, and we ain't going to trade you. Yeah, we heard the rumors of people calling about BT, and they were like, we have no intention to trade Brian Thomas Jr. Hanging up the phone. They're not giving up. This is a part of the coach's job. Everybody think coaching is just about calling plays or doing interviews at the podium. No, it's all about setting an example and extracting stuff out of these athletes. This is why they draft people with physical talent and want to. That might need a little polish. We got to pull it out of you. You see them pulling it out of the quarterback. It's look, I said that this team was pregnant with possibility. Well, some people are in labor longer than others. And look, I'm going to tell you right now, this ain't easy sometimes when you watching it happen. And when you watching it manifest. And when you watching things go from this to that. Imagine having to be the dude that's over there and you're the doctor. And you're saying, okay, come on, let's go. We got to get it done. This is what I think the Jaguars are going through. And this is the roller coaster aspect. Well, we've always kind of had the roller coaster aspect. But that roller coaster 9 times out of 10 is going to end up in a bad place. Like you're going to be stuck. Like the roller coaster stops working and you got to figure out how to get out. That's what this is not this. We're seeing results. And I'm going to tie some things in today to show you why I believe the results are real, why I believe they are tangible, why I believe that they'll have an everlasting and long-term effect because we've seen it come and go before. In the late 90s, one time in like 2006, and then another time in 2017. The fact that I just named 4 different times. Oh, and by the way, let me 5, 2021, 22, whatever year that was. The fact that I just named those different times, well, you can say a wig has happened a lot. No, that's not a lot. That's just frequently being on or off. Right? You say something happened 5 times in 30 years. It's about once every 6 years. No. What I'm talking about is something showing up and then it's leaving. You know what that feels like? It feels like you open all these Christmas presents you enjoy, you go to sleep, you wake up, and it was all a dream. Ain't nothing under that tree. That's the way the Jaguars fans have probably felt. And covering the team, that's kind of the way you felt. For some reason, I don't have that trepidation anymore. I don't have those feelings that, hey, man, this thing going to go away. No, I'm just as comfortable and as fat and I'm just chilling. I know some of y'all saying, yeah, you are fat. Shut up. But anyway, here's the deal. I think I keep using this term proof of concept. One of the things I've alluded to is that this coaching staff had a lot of things that they had to figure out. They could talk them all day about how it's going to look and what are we doing and how you procure talent. We didn't know, like if Travis was here and they were winning and he was producing, we'd be saying Travis lifted up the whole franchise. This is what happens when you get a great player who lifts up the whole franchise. And I always say you can't just put that on one player in football. That works in basketball. It doesn't work in football. It's a collection of things. We had no idea how good the collection of things was going to be or whether it was any good. Now you play a season basically for the most part without Brian Thomas Jr., without Trayvon Walker, without Jordan Lewis, without Eric Murray, and without Travis Hunter. And this team is 8-4. So one of the questions that got answered is, do they know what they're doing? Apparently they do. Because if I'd have told you they'd have been missing all those people at the beginning of the year, you would never have believed me. I'm going to talk about Travis Hunter. I know he's not here, but this is a good time to talk about it. We talked about it so much that we're going to talk about answered questions as it pertains to what kind of organization is Travis Hunter coming into. And then I'm going to play you a clip from a national show, the NFL show called The Barbershop. Today's guest was David Harrison. I'm going to show you that not all national media or media that do not cover this team locally believe those BS narratives about the Jacksonville Jaguars. Even if I had to correct him a little bit on something, I don't want you to hang on to that part of it when you hear it. I want you to focus on the fact that he's actually saying something really, really cool about Jacksonville. All right, we'll get to that in just a second here on Locked On Jaguars. All right, today's show is sponsored and brought to you by Aura Frames. That's correct, man. The holidays are officially here, which means gift hunting season is on. And if you want something meaningful, personal, and guaranteed to get a reaction, Aura Frames is the gift that delivers every time. It's not just something you wrap, it's a way to share memories. Because Aura isn't your average picture frame. You can preload the frame with photos before gifting it. So when they plug it in, the memories are already there. No apps to figure it out, no setup headaches, just instant smiles. It's holiday. It's a great holiday gift that actually gets used, not forgotten, in a drawer. For a limited time, save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura's best-selling Carver matte frames. Named #1 by Wirecutter by using the promo code Locked On at checkout. That's Aura, AURA, frames.com, promo code Locked On. This deal is exclusive to listeners, and frames selling out fast. They're selling out fast, so order yours now to get in time for the holidays. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. Rolling along here on Locked On Jaguars. It is your team every day. All right, listen. We kind of been taught around here in the land of the Jaguars and Duval to ignore a lot of people that say negative things about this team. I mean, we have enough questions on our own that we have to answer, right? So many people when the Jaguars drafted Travis Hunter were saying little crazy things. Even Coach Prime back. This is way before they drafted him, but when he was trying to figure out who had the first pick, and he joked on Club Shay Shay or whatever it was and said, Travis, got to have a talk with you or whatever. And everybody laughed at it, and it's cool. Jacksonville's a great city. Great city with great fans, great place to live. It's a great place to fish if you're a dude that likes fishing like Travis Hunter. But nobody cares about all of that. They just like, how are they going to use Jacksonville? So every time a great player is thought to come to Jacksonville or something like that, or a big-time prospect, the first thing you're going to hear is a lot of people saying he's going to a dysfunctional organization. And most of the times in the past, they would have said that. They were absolutely correct. Any organization with Trent Baalke as the GM and Urban Meyer, a combination of both, it was a pretty bad situation for Trevor Lawrence to walk into. We can all see that. If you didn't see it then, you can definitely see it in hindsight, right? But what people don't understand is that folks change. I recall days when the New England Patriots, before Tom Brady, they were the laughing stock of the league. I remember the popsicle uniform Tampa Bay Bucks, they were the laughing stock of the league before they changed and got a tradition of winning, right? Jacksonville's the same way. Having the same uniform without having the same coaches and the same administration sometimes brings about lazy takes. My buddy David Harrison, who covers Locked On Commanders, he's the host of Locked On Commanders, has covered the league for a long time, has a bunch of entities. He did something today, and I told him I'm going to use it on my show. He talked about the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I made the point that the Jaguars have done all of these things without contributions from Travis, mainly BT, Trayvon Walker being in and out because of injuries, Jordan Lewis missing a chunk in this, the last month. They haven't even been 100% with some of their best players, and they're 8-4. He believed in the Jaguars from the very start of this season. Now we'll know that Travis Hunter is coming back to not a team that doesn't know how to do this or doesn't know how to do that, and what is it going to look like. It's unfortunate that he got hurt, but you can turn a mess into a blessing by demonstrating who you really are and letting him know that this is what you're now joining. Just imagine Travis Hunter, the Heisman Trophy winner, and you say, we're going to put you on a team that won 11 games. And that's wishful thinking, but the Jaguars are real close and might have a shot at winning 11 games. This is what you're going to get next year. We ain't going to push that because we ain't going to push that too far. They still have things that they need to learn. I want y'all to hear David and what he said about the Jaguars on the barbershop today. And I thought I'd share it with you. Don't get hung up on the little part that he got wrong, because I actually offered a little bit of correction, but give him credit for what he said. Check this out.
You get there and don't look now, But the Jacksonville Jaguars
Come on.
are very, very close to unlocking the ability to put up 30 points on any team in the NFL any given weekend. And I think that a lot of people are sleeping on my AFC South preseason division champion winner, the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, and they doing it without a whole bunch of contributions from Brian Thomas Jr., thought to be their best offensive player, and he's back. He came back and made a couple of nice catches last week, made blocks down the field. Jacoby Myers is playing well. And think about this. Trayvon Walker has missed the majority of the season, and so has Travis Hunter. So the future is also bright because they were answering questions like, okay, can y'all coach? Okay, can y'all put Travis in situations where he's doing offense and defense? Okay, what is it going to look like? You never want to see somebody get hurt. But with him being out, the proof of concept is I know he's probably sitting there saying, oh, this is what I'm being added to. Not the Jacksonville Jaguars from 2023, 2024, or the past. This is the good team that I'm being added to. So now it puts a different perspective.
But Wig, before we get out of here real quick, can I say a little bit more about the Jacksonville Jaguars? Because I want to hammer.
Oh, of course you can.
A little bit more.
I'll use this on my local show. Go ahead, do it.
Here's the thing about the Jacksonville Jaguars that people don't understand. They're 8-4 right now. The first place in the AFC South. I understand the AFC South is supposed to be one of the worst divisions in the NFL, but listen, the AFC South has turned into one of the most competitive divisions in the National Football League this season. The Houston Texans are not necessarily dead in the water. The Indianapolis Colts are still in this playoff picture. But here's why I say that you need to be weary of the Jacksonville Jaguars, because the Jags have one of the best defenses in the NFL right now. Wig, obviously, you know this. Jags fans know this as well. Here's what the Jacksonville Jaguars don't have or haven't done yet. Here's what Liam Cohen hasn't done yet. He hasn't unlocked the full potential of Trevor Lawrence, especially from a consistency standpoint. And you just kind of mentioned it earlier. He hasn't yet figured out how to use Brian Thomas Jr. to the fullest extent possible. This is an incredibly talented receiver. Liam Cohen comes from the Los Angeles Rams organization. He went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and had an amazing season with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin until he got hurt, and Jalen McMillan. And don't forget, he was in Kentucky for Will Levis's junior season in Kentucky when he transferred from Penn State. He laid the groundwork for Will Levis to eventually become a first-round pick and dupe everybody. Not everybody, because I didn't think you should have been a first-round pick, but he duped a lot of people, especially the Tennessee Titans, right? That's Liam Cohen. Coaching matters. If Liam Cohen figures out how to align his quarterback with this receiver and Jacoby Myers and this running game, and you pair it with that defense, and he does it in the right time, I'm telling you right now, the Jacksonville Jaguars are a dangerous, dangerous team if they can get unlocked. That's the question. Is Liam Cohen going to figure it out this year, or is he going to need the offseason, some new blood in the building, things like that, to get it fully unlocked? But if he figures it out this year, watch out, because the Jags are going to be dangerous.
I think we're watching him figure it out. Okay, and when it comes to BT, I think Cohen's approach is, look, I'm gonna put it on your plate and I'm gonna leave it up to you because it's a players' league. I'm gonna leave it up to you to get right. He told Trevor, just let it rip. Yep. He also, hey, with BT, I'm gonna keep throwing it. You keep dropping it, I'm gonna keep throwing it. BT got hurt, and then they went and made a trade. And James Gladstone says we traded for Jacoby Myers because guess what? He catches the ball, and we've had a problem with drops. Brian Thomas Jr. was at the top with those drops. What Cohen is doing is saying, you're going to get down or you're going to lay down. And Brian Thomas Jr. responded when he came back from an ankle injury, and he wants to get down. So I love the fact that we're watching it. We're actually watching it in slow motion like it's on National Geo, and we're seeing it come into manifestation. And Trevor Lawrence, look at True Media, you can tell he's played a whole bunch better the last 3 or 4 weeks since Cohen gave him that edict. So good on you. I did not put you up to say that. I'm going to use it on my local show.
I just need BTJ to hold off one more week because I'm trying to make these fantasy playoffs. So
I'll let you go
off this week. Just let Jacoby go handle business, and you come back and next week and get it figured out.
All right, Jaguar fans want them both to simultaneously do that. Jaguar fans do want them both simultaneously to do that. That is courtesy of the Barbershop on Locked On NFL. You can hear it every day at about 2 o'clock, and that man is David Harrison from Locked On Commanders. And it's just good to hear somebody off script give some complimentary, thoughtful analysis of the Jacksonville Jaguars as opposed to the low-hanging fruit and the narratives of constantly pointing back to, oh, this ain't going to work. It's the Jaguars. He knows because he covers Washington, and he's experiencing now what we've experienced in the past. They had an up year, and then all of a sudden, now the year's down again. So he is in the exact same spot that we were probably in 2021, 2017, all of that with the team that he covers. So he knows what it looks like to have a one-year wonder, but then he also knows what it looks like for a team to be sustainable long-term, because he also used to, James Yarko hosts now, but he used to co-host Locked on Bucks with James Yarko, and that's when the Bucks were winning the championship with Tom Brady. All right, more to come here. It's time to turn the bank up and focus on what's at hand right now. And the thing that is at hand right now are the Colts are in your way. It's a speed bump. You can't go around it. You got to go over it. Talk about that more here on Locked on Jaguars. All right, today's show is sponsored and brought to you by FanDuel. NFL Sundays. Move fast. One big play and suddenly everything feels different. That's what makes live betting with FanDuel so exciting. You're not just watching the game, you're reacting to it in real time. With FanDuel, you can place bets on the action as the action unfolds, every drive, every momentum swing, every highlight moment. Live betting is best when the game starts to shift, a receiver gets hot, a defense tightens up, or the momentum, flips after a turnover. FanDuel lets you jump into that moment. Live spreads and money lines adjust instantly. Player props update as guys heat up. You can bet next touchdown scores, drive results, totals, and more. It keeps you locked into every snap and every drive and every possibility. So if you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. FanDuel, the game moves fast, so can you. All right, last few minutes here on Locked on Jaguars. I wanted to send out a rally or a battle cry. Y'all get to the bank, man. Get your tickets. I know they're talking about a little inclement weather. A little weather ain't stopping nobody. And I know that's hard. That's easy for me to say sitting in the press box, but y'all ain't seen me walk lately. It's going to take me a minute to get to the press box, so I'll probably end up getting wet too. However, it doesn't matter about the conditions. It matters about how the team plays. Both teams will be playing in the same weather. The Jaguars have to win this game, man. This is a battle of two teams that, we ain't who we used to be. That's what this is. The Jaguars will probably want to make Daniel Jones look like the Daniel Jones that everybody thinks he used to be. They also probably want to contain Jonathan Taylor, which they, for the most part, have been able to do, especially here in Jacksonville. The Colts always struggle to win here. But we can't sit here and just think it's just something that just has to happen. I think it's going to take everybody involved. It's going to take the fans. It's going to take a raucous environment. It is going to take a total team effort. And for the Jaguars to do what they've been doing, finding ways to win the game. You win this one, and look, in the NFL, man, there's no gimmies. And I know they just beat the Titans snotless. But the thing is you're going to have to do it again. You're going to have to get them. You got to get the Jets, right? You win those two games against those two teams that you should win, even though the Jets are a little bit of a dangerous team and have played better since they made the trade Sauce Gardner to the Colts, who, by the way, won't play. I don't think he's going to play because he had to get helped off the field last week. You get this one, and then you get those two. That gets you to 11, right? And I know it doesn't come in this order, but I'm saying it in this order. That gets you to 11. You beat Denver and then go get the Colts again. That gets you to 13. And I know you're saying, come on, Wig. Just think about it. That's two games you're supposed to win. And probably at the very least, the expectation is that you'll split with the Colts, right? And maybe by then the Colts are reeling because you play in the last game, I think one of the last 2 weeks of the season. Maybe they're reeling because they've been losing all these games. They had this big lead. And then you get them again. And you did all of this with all of those injuries, with all of those reasons to make excuses, with losing your number one pick that you traded all of this stuff for, with not having probably one of your five best players in Trayvon Walker for most of the season, and your quarterback on the defense, Jordan Lewis, missed significant time, and Brian Thomas Jr. is just starting to come back around. This is the example of finding solutions and not searching out problems. Because when you search out problems, it forces you to make excuses. When you find solutions, it makes you look for reasons to do what you set out to do. And once again, the proof of concept is these guys know what they're doing. They're coaching. Had Travis been playing, of course, there would have been a lot of people that want to give all of the credit to whatever narrative they had about him. And just like if the Jaguars were 4-8 instead of 8-4, they would be giving all of the credit or the negative credit to James Gladstone for trading a first-round pick next year, whether Travis was there or not. So instead of looking for reason or looking for excuses or trying to say, okay, this is this, that, we're just going to look at it for what it is. They're 8-4 without contributions from a whole bunch of contributions from all of those players I just mentioned who are amongst the best on the team. Get out to the stadium. They want and need this game. If you're a Jaguar fan, you really want and need this game. This kind of takes us back to the Brunell, Fred Taylor, Jimmy Smith Jags against the Peyton Manning, Marvin Harrison, Edgerrin James Jags. They're not that good. I like the running back. But as a collective, this is not that team. The Jaguars aren't quite there yet either. Who's closer? I think it's Jacksonville. And I wish they'd come out there and blow the socks off of the Colts this week. We're going to have the crossover, our Thursday crossover. We'll have that tomorrow, all right? But let me tell you something. This is a very, very important game of meaning here in week 13 or week 14, whichever one it is, if you want to include the bye or not. Bask in it, because we haven't been here very often. But I got a feeling if they keep going the way that they're going, we will be here more often than we won't in the future. All right, man, make sure y'all tap in each and every day here on Locked On Jaguars. It's always fun for you. A little bit less than 28 minutes today, but we got her done. We'll see you tomorrow with the crossover show. Y'all take care.